Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus A330 pilot, and welcome to our first flight in the iniBuilds A340 version 1.0.4. So, brand new aircraft. I have actually not flown that before, and I'm hearing myself twice and got no idea why. Well, now it's solved. So let's go ahead and get right into this one. 1.0.4 has just been released, and as you can probably guess, is quite a good update here, bringing both performance updates to the aircraft, even though not as many on the 340 as they did on the A350 in the past. But most importantly, it brings us a huge data link update. So I'm really looking forward to testing that one in action on VATSIM today. We'll see how it's going to develop, and well, I suppose we just have to see how things are going to turn out over here. Additionally, I do hope that since we're only doing a single sector, the problem with those memories that are eventually killing the live stream are not going to happen, but we'll see about that. So, Frankfurt to Dubai, using Aerosoft's Frankfurt, and as you can see, it's snowing over here, so this will be another video doing winter operations today, which is something that I'm looking really forward to. And then, of course, into Dubai, where I do sincerely hope that it's not going to be snowing over there. Alright, so that much for the basics down here. I do apologize, by the way, for the slightly late start. For some reason that I really had no idea about, I started my simulator like, 10 minutes before the scheduled start of the live stream, and it just took 3 minutes until it even went into the main screen. I suppose their servers are a little bit overloaded at the moment. So let's see how this is going to turn out. I'm certainly very much looking forward to this one, so I suggest without any further ado, we are just going to jump right into our Airbus A340. We're standing in Frankfurt on Bravo 25, and as you can see, I have changed the docking system in the GSX profile. Now, this is not entirely perfect yet, but in the real world, Frankfurt Airport has changed that previous system from the Aerosoft setup into the new new SafeDock X system from ADB SafeGate. So that's quite a cool thing to see. Alright, so tower is online, approach is online. At the moment that's all we've got, but that's already looking quite good for the day. Okay, so let's get straight into this. An interesting question from someone in the chat. Do you lose EPR from anti-ice being on? Not if the airplane can actually correct for it. Okay, so let's start with the actual setup of the aircraft over here. So before we are going to do anything, let's go ahead and check that the engine masters are off, engine start selector is in norm, weather radar is off, landing gear is down, and the battery voltages are above 25.5, wipers are selected off, then we can turn on electrical power to our A340. So, brand new startup animations here. That dash over here basically tells us that the unit is powered, but that the DMC is not delivering any data for it to process at the moment. So, that's pretty much all that this means. And by the way, I'm just looking at the clock and I'm seeing that I've slightly misplaced the time in my simulator over here. So, displays coming to life. As you can see, there is no self-test on the EAS1 displays here. Alright, and I'm just quickly going to correct for that simulator time, because it should be 12 UTC. Scheduled off block is 12:30. Alright, cool. So, that's that one. Now let's get right back up here. It's winter ops, so we are straight away going to turn on the probe and window heat over here. Then ADRs 1, 2, 3 coming on. APU fire test is looking good, and well, with these temperatures outside, definitely going to start the APU straight away here. So APU master switch on, APU start switch on, and off we go. Now, let's take a moment to run over into the electronic flight bag, and we're going to start down here on the GSX menu by requesting our catering services. And we'll take Gate Gourmet Catering, please. Then let's go ahead and import our flight plan, and error, instance was null. Interesting. I mean, it does get that we're flying Frankfurt to Dubai. Haven't seen that one before, but okay. So, view flight plan, please. Looks like everything is working just about fine, so I am not going to complain over here. Now, starting right down here with our route of flight. This is what it looks like. Leaving Frankfurt southbound, and then through Austria, Hungary, Romania, and so on, southbound through Turkey, Iraq, and then across the Gulf down into the United Arab Emirates. Now, we do have this area over here, number 3, which is moderate turbulence from the bottom of the chart, which is level 250, to level 380, so it is going to be a little bit turbulent in here while we're crossing that jet stream with a core and flight level 340. The second half of the flight is absolutely fine though, which is appreciated, let's just call it that way. Alright, so let's have a look into our weather. Departing Frankfurt, light snow showers and rain, which is not good. Temperature 0, so this is about the worst that we can possibly get here. De-icing is going to be interesting. So then we got Dubai, clear skies, and the wind points to runway 12 being in use. Well, 5 knots, so probably still runway 30, but we'll go there, we'll see what's going to happen. Raatnet and Al Maktoum, completely fine. So overall, beautiful weather conditions. Well then, let's go up a little bit. Let's go up all the way. Leaving Frankfurt at 12:30, we are going to arrive in Dubai just about on time. Takeoff weight 204.6. Well, that is not a lot. And zero fuel weight 164.5. That, on the other hand side, is a lot. So yeah, very short route of flight. Flight level 310 at first, and then 370 from Besny. So basically it's just 31 to get out of the immediate vicinity from Frankfurt, and then level 370 thereafter. Level 390 is final level then. Alright, so going through the flight plan with all of that in mind, we might have to fly a little bit faster here to be sure we make it on time. So let's have a look into the fuel dialog. First of all, there's only 51 minutes of arrival fuel, so we gotta add 10 minutes, which is 1,000 kilos. Then we've got 41.6 plus taxi, but I am going to increase the taxi fuel to 1,000 kilos because we have to de-ice the aircraft, and it's probably going to be remote de-icing today. Well, with this rain and shower, you know, the holdover time is not going to be very long, so de-icing at the gate, probably not. Probably have to go to the de-icing pad. Alright, so let's have a look into what we're gonna do then. 42 tons. Well, let's make it 43 just to be on the safe side here. That way we can also fly a little bit faster. And I think that that's everything we're gonna do today. Okay, so 43 tons it is. Now let's go into the payload and fuel. And import that all from SimBrief. Fueling, we want 43 tons, like that. Alright, instant load, thank you very much. And then we can go to the GSX options and request boarding down here as well. So, by now the APU is started, so let's put APU bleed on. And, well, with that done, we can already head back into the ACAS system at first now. So let's see what's new down here. They said that they have added data link now, so let's go ahead and have a look at what we've got. A340-300 CFM56 engines, and of course the IRAC is out of date. I am so happy that we can do this. Well, not here, but here now. So, third-party settings and update nav data, please. This is annoying. Every time I install an update, I am always deleting the WASM folder, but doing that also deletes the nav data that you've downloaded, so that's a little bit annoying at times. Now, why is this not doing anything? I guess I probably have to log out of Navigraph and back in again. And obviously that would show you guys a QR code that you shouldn't see. So while I'm updating the nav data, let's quickly do this. Boy, I just love this thing. I just absolutely love this thing. Okay, we'll be right back there. Okay, cool. And the nav data is updated. So here we are again. Now, Z, have we tried the GSX cleaners? I have tried the GSX cleaners, and they did absolutely not work. They were just bugging around somewhere on the outside of the aircraft. So, yeah. That much about it, huh? Alright, then let's change to Navigraph as data source down there for the nav data. And that is obviously hanging up the sim. So, sim is frozen right now. And now it's working again. Good. Alright, so let's just go on to init and then back to data and aircraft status. And here we go. Now the nav data is actually up to date. Just valid for another 3 days, but hey, good enough for us. Alright, so let's go ahead and do what we really needed to do. That's MCDU menu, then we go into the ATSU. And now, all this stuff in the AOC menu here is new. So let's first of all go to flight init, and then we can do the init data request down here. Hewart Lindsay asking in the comments, hi Manuel, where do we get your NUT HLA guidelines for use for your oceanic flights from? Is that available online for download? No, it's not. It's actually a company document from my airline, so I can't really share that. So something that's a little strange over here when doing the uplink is that it does not get you any alternate field. Now, I'm not 100% sure why it works that way, but what I can tell you is that in the real world, our AOC flight init page looks a little bit different, but the real world one that we've got in our aircraft does actually not uplink an alternate. So when you go to the init page, you actually just have the from to, and that's it. So you still need to fill in the rest manually. So yeah, I suppose the fact that the alternate is not uplinked could be considered realistic, while on the other hand side, it is of course strange that you got the field in here, but then don't have the entry for it. I suppose that's something they're going to address for the next update then. Alright, so next up, let's go ahead and go into the weather requests. Airport, we want Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot. Like that, we want the METAR, and oh, interesting, that selected itself automatically. That's cool. Alright, so that thing is requested. And then let's also go into the ATC com, next page, ATIS, and we want Frankfurt / departure. And request that one as well. From VATSIM, of course. Now my only question is, why does the star not disappear? Which it should. Okay, so Frankfurt, departure ATIS, Delta at 1650, runways 25 center and 18, transition level 70, 180 at 6, visibility down to 4200, couple of clouds, light showers of snow, recent showers of snow, temperature 0, QNH 1007. Okay. 1007 set once and set twice. Good. Alright, nice. So that stuff is done. Elton, excellent question again. Yes, the AOC menu is actually very different on different airlines. And funnily enough, even though apparently my company has one of the most common setups, I've never seen my company set up in any flight sim. But I do know from different products that flight sim developers company have a tendency to go for versions where you really think like, okay, why on earth did they pick that version of the aircraft? So let's see, here's our Frankfurt ATIS again. Come on, go back. Weather, well, Dubai is not available, that's fine. Load sheet, that one is new as well, so let's have a look into this. Load sheet, preliminary, Lufthansa 630 on the 23rd of November. Frankfurt to Dubai on the Golf Lima. Well, we technically speaking got a different aircraft here, but I'm not going to bother with that right now, because otherwise we're never going to get off Frankfurt. We'll have enough delays due to the de-icing already. So, zero fuel 164.5, takeoff fuel, well, that one still needs updating down here. Zero fuel CG 30.3. Then let's see what they used here. 279 passengers. 100% portable water, which is good at the home base. And that's it. Okay. We can accept this. And that's all the AOC messages we got down here for the time being. Now, something that would be nice here as well, that we always do in the real world, is that we have to send a boarding notification to the gate. So the way this would work in the real world is you would go onto that boarding notification button, and then you would tell them at what time you want the passengers at your aircraft. And then, if that is later than the schedule, you would also tell them the reason for the delay, so that it's in the system already. Then you don't have to do it en route. The way we do it over here with the reactive delay is kinda, okay, can do that, but I think it would be nice if they actually added that version where it's going to send the boarding notification to the gate, because then at the scheduled boarding time you could automatically start the GSX boarding. I think that would be quite the cool thing to do, wouldn't it? And AirDoc, how long before passengers would board the plane? So normally we're getting into the aircraft like 20 or 25 minutes before passengers get on. And then when we get on board the plane, you know, while we're doing all this here in the flight deck, all that preliminary cockpit preparation, the cabin would be doing stuff like counting the meals that have been loaded so that we could load or that we could order anything that might be missing. They would be doing these security checks, they would be doing all the general emergency equipment checks, and so back and so forth. So that's all stuff that would be going on back here before the boarding is actually going to start. So round about 20 minutes-ish. Okay, so now that we got all the weather and stuff, let's go ahead and start doing our preliminary takeoff performance. So Frankfurt, runway 18, the runway, well, we only have dry and wet, which is a little bit basic, unfortunately. Where does that altimeter setting come from? That's certainly not accurate. Okay, so what do we got? 180 at 6, 0 degrees, 1017. Interestingly enough, oh, I think I know why. Yep, we were on the live weather from this afternoon. We should be on live weather from now. It's actually required for flying the VATSIM. Okay, so let's do that again. Synchronize, and now we also got the correct QNH, and with that also the correct altimeter readout. Perfect. And Elton, yes, absolutely. The way this works in the real world for us with the boarding notification is similar to FS Labs. Okay, so down here we got a takeoff weight of 207.05, so let's actually calculate 208 tons for our takeoff weight. 208. Come on. Interesting, the decimal doesn't work. Well, let's do it this way. Or we can't do it with a decimal at all. Okay, so flaps 2, air conditioning off, anti-ice on, and that should be it. Calculate, and here we go. Max takeoff weight 277, so easy going on this runway, and that's it. Wonderful. So last but not least, we do need our charts. So we got the APC East, then we also need the AGC, and finally we need the SID chart for runway 18, for the Lima procedures, which is that one, and the same for the SID PT. So SID runway, actually we should have the Sierra procedures, not the Lima procedures. What am I doing? SID runway 18 Sierra, that is what we're looking for. Here it is. Okay, perfect. That's looking good. CMO Aviation asks, what is SID-PT? That's the procedural description. So basically, let's have a look at that one. So Cindy 8 Sierra, that's the one we expect to fly today. On here you got the routing as text, you got the altitude as text, and then you got information like this. When instructed by tower, contact Langen radar. And then it also tells you the departure frequency to expect, and so on. So that's quite some cool stuff that we got over there. Alright, so, talking about cool stuff to expect, we got 15 minutes to our expected off-block time, so why don't we just go ahead and request our IFR clearance already. So, departure requests, we're an Airbus 340-300, we're going from Frankfurt to Dubai, our gate is Bravo 25, the ATIS is Delta, and the station is Frankfurt. And of course we say hello to them. Like that. By the way, I think it's new that we can actually type something into there. So that's quite a cool feature that they've just added to the entire thing here as well. Alright, beautiful. So I think that's everything we need down here. Then let's go ahead and switch that over to the DCDU. So, request pre-departure clearance Lufthansa 630 A340 300 to Dubai at Frankfurt State Bravo 28, ATIS Delta, Gute. Sent. Company message received, but there's nothing in here. Interesting. No comment on that, huh? Okay, doesn't matter though, let's go ahead and continue with our procedures. So the APU is available, even though I have no idea why that page got stuck over there. Because it should go back to the door page. Like that. Alright, anyway. We'll just accept that the way it is. So let's do the recall here for 3 seconds. And no messages in there. Perfect. So let's go ahead and go over the aircraft itself. It's an A340-300, no automatic nav on go-around. CFM56 engines, and that's pretty much it. Any questions? No? Perfect. Then oxygen pressure is good, hydraulic quantity is good, engine oil quantity is full. So the flaps are up, that agrees with the lever, the spoilers are retracted, and yeah, hello there. Okay, so brake check. Nothing. So probably the good old bug with the shocks still there. Yeah, look at that. Alright, now it's working. Shocks in. And the parking brake is set again. Alright, cool. So that's that. Now the accumulator went a little bit low there for my taste. Ground from flight deck. Please confirm the aircraft's clear so that we can pressurize the hydraulics. Yeah, Captain, that's confirmed. Thank you. So, blue hydraulic pump. And what you're going to see now is, as soon as the system pressurizes, yeah, the accumulator is already charged. It really goes that quick. That's quite cool. Alright, and then we can turn the blue electric pump back off again. Lovely. I just don't know why the APU page is stuck. That bug is new. Okay, so in the meantime, we've just gotten the clearance. So, request being processed, stand by. Then we got a second message, and here we go. So, print that one, please. Wilco and send. Close. And that should only have closed the clearance, not the first message as well. So that's a little bug in the system right down there. But okay, we're just going to accept it that way. Well then, that's our preliminary pre-flight procedure complete. Then we can start with the actual pre-flight procedure. Crew supply, flight recorder ground control, or rather voice recorder. CBR switch is set on captain, or evacuation switch, that way around. Refueling is complete, so all that stuff goes active. Batteries off and on again. Then let's go right down here, elect DC. And as we can see, the batteries are all charging just fine. Okay, so look at that. Here's still a sign of the bug that I just talked about. You can see it brought in the new message with the clearance confirmation now, but it shows that as message 2 of 2. So as you can see, we still have message number 1. But when I now hit close, it should only close that one message like this. But when I'm on message 2 instead of message 1, it should only close number 2. So a small bug there. And AirDog, would you use the blue electric pump each time when checking the brakes? No, not all the time. You mainly use it when the accumulator pressure goes down towards the amber. When it's still anywhere between green and amber, you don't need to do it. But when it goes into the amber, then you should probably consider recharging your brake accumulator. Okay, cool. So the overhead panel, we were just down here when that clearance confirmation came. Fueling is complete, so we can turn on any of those pumps. Engine fire test is good. Upper overhead panel is checked. Right hand side then. Well, I'll tell you what, we're just gonna leave the cargo heaters in normal down here. Alright, that all looks good. We are recording the PAs, perfect, and CVR test. Should only illuminate one of those, not all of them, but okay. Alright, so down to the main panel. Did you hear those sounds associated with the standby horizon? Well, a little bit hard to hear because I didn't actually expect them. But yeah, quite a cool thing, wasn't it? Okay, cool. So it's the 23rd of November 25 today. Clock is on GPS. Well, actually we should put this on to end, because we do expect some GPS jamming along today's route. The right hand side is all set. We'll be talking about the GPS jamming later on then. So listen to VHF 1 and 2. Weather radar gets a tilt of 5 up, weather and turbulence. Anti-ground clutter suppression should be on, but automatically switches itself back off again. The right side is checked, and then we can go down into the FMS. So, SimBrief dispatch, view, and then let's go. Init page, Frankfurt to Dubai, alternate Al Maktoum, Lufthansa 630, that is correct. Then Cosnex 30, flight level 310 is a little bit low, we'll go to 370 straight away down here. Like that. So, flight plan, departure, runway 18, and we got the Cindy 8 Sierra down here. Insert. Now, arrival, Dubai. We'll program 30 left for the time being. We'll see on which runway they're landing by the time that we actually get there. So, VTAP for Charlie arrival, and we do need the ULDOT transition. Insert. Now let's go ahead and add the emergency waypoint here. Stored waypoints, that's going to be FRAX 3. Based on Frankfurt 18/176, which is the runway track, and 25 miles straight ahead. Store. And then secondary, copy active, FRAX 3, enter. Like that. Holding. 176 right turn, 1 minute lag time, like that. And then we can enter an immediate re-landing back to Frankfurt. Runway 25 is active, so let's program the ILS Zulu approach runway 25 center. And this is what it looks like. So that's actually quite good, I'd say. Why do you guys get stutters? That is not fair. I'm not seeing anything in my... I'm not seeing anything in Streamlabs. That can't be. Right, stand by, guys. Stand by. Trying to work on it. Stand by one moment. Okay, you guys say now it's better? Alright, well then let's hope that we can continue. I really have no idea why. You might have seen some stutters here. I am already looking at my Streamlabs. It didn't show me anything. Normally it show me straight away when it's stuttering. So yeah, no idea. Alright, anyway, fix info. Let's go ahead and add that departure. Frankfurt runway 18, 176 as the runway track, and then FRAX 3 as emergency waypoint. Good, so off to init, next page. Now let's go ahead and enter that stuff. Zero fuel 164.1, and we don't have a final CG yet, so we'll just use 25. Block fuel 43. And then we got a couple of fuel figures here, which are 1.1, 2.4, and final 2.6, like that. Alright, so now let's go ahead and add the step altitudes, which is only going to be Throttle 390 at FSAS. So FSAS 390, like that. And that's already it. Perfect. Altitude restrictions, let's go ahead and cross-check that we can meet all of them, but any of those are looking good. Alright, cool. So let's go on to the performance. Conf 2, 52 degrees. And the takeoff speeds 138, 153, 158. Alright, acceleration and reduction at 1000 above ground, then engine out in 1500. Climb D rate is going to be D2. And then we got Frankfurt 25 center for the immediate return down here. Alright, cruising 37, optimum 355, maximum 381, that all looks good. And with that, I'd say we are about done with our standard setup. So let's just do the data link setup here. So ATC.com. Then we got the message record, which should only have our departure request, and it does. Perfect. Then we go down to connection status. On here we now have ADS armed. This is a fix from the previous version. Previously it showed connected on the ground, which didn't make sense. Now it says armed. That is absolutely correct. And finally, under reports, this airplane is not even featured with automatic position reports. It only has manual ones, so that's easy going. And that's everything checked that we had to do down here. Lovely. So that's our FMS done. Then next up, let's do the FCU. So flight directors are coming on. Initial climb is 4000 on this one. And that's it. Alright, cool. So let's just go into the plan mode here and cross-check our SID, and then we are done. So, Cindy 8 Sierra is the one going down here, so that's straight ahead to Delta Fox 158 above 800. Then we got a left turn, Delta Fox 171 above 2500, max 220 knots. Then we continue Delta Fox 173, Delta Fox 174 above 4200, 170 above 5000, Amtix and Cindy. And that's all we got. Okay. Why are there guys saying that the stream quality is bad again? Well, that can't be. For God's sake. Everything shows absolutely fine over here.